Mic check, mic check. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Who we got in here? Lord Merman, Levan, Saul, Geraldo. Good morning, mic check, good morning. All right, everybody, welcome in to the watch list review session for today. The watch list is quite a bit smaller than what it was yesterday. We don't have as many quality setups out there, but I feel like we have better quality setups today than yesterday. Yesterday was rough, man. That was rough. That was really tough to trade the morning session yesterday. So hopefully we get some better, cleaner price action. All right, we start with number one on the watch list. We're on the 5-minute time frame, and we will be on the 5-minute time frame for every chart that we look at. Number one is SPY. I think that it makes sense here to just look for lower lows out of SPY below yesterday's low of day, given the all-time high rejection. We did get a new all-time high yesterday, but barely. This price action right here was so horrendous during the morning session, and then it dropped, and you think it's going to continue down, and then it enters into like another hour of terrible price action, consolidation. So you have like 2 hours here where there's basically no direction, and then it finally breaks down. So it's a midday breakdown. But given this rejection right here of the all-time high yesterday for SPY, I think that it makes sense to just look for an outside day today. So we either look for a higher high or a lower low. So if we pull those two circles to the right, for me, that's going to be a short idea on SPY below 662. Otherwise, long above 667 or 667.5 actually. We'll just make it a true high. I know that the long level is pretty far away from, you have that much room that SPY has to make up to get to that top level. I know it's far away from where SPY is currently at. I'm doing that intentionally. I don't want to necessarily be trading in all of this area. I'd rather trade on the outside of that. So either when this breaks out, if this breaks out, probably not today, or if it breaks down, right? I'd be looking for, the bottom line works here because I'd be looking for a break of that uptrend trend line essentially. So SPY short below 662, long above 667.5. Then we move on to number two on the watch list, which is going to be PLTR. All right, PLTR. This is not the all-time highs, but it's not far off from it. This is the daily time frame. Your all-time high, your next resistance point is going to be $190. Back to the 5-minute time frame, yesterday's price action. Super wonky here. Opening move up, that then sold off, but that low of day holds as support. You get the move back up. This is where I took my entry, looking for the move higher. We don't get it. It sells back off. Sells all the way off into the low of day, and then at the end of day, rallies all the way back up nearly to the high of day. And then this morning, we were looking at a gap up that has since started to pull back. So I want to rock the same level that we had yesterday on PLTR, which is a long above $184. This here is a positive reaction to a news catalyst. You see the volume there. You see the big moves there. It's a partnership with Boeing. I made an Instagram reel about this yesterday. If you haven't seen it yet, go watch it. Or if you don't care, then that's fine too. But we're looking for the break of 184. Can we get the break of 184? I'm not concerned too much about this resistance over here around 185, 185 and a half. I'm not really concerned about that because my thinking is this news catalyst is pretty fresh, right? This volume is pretty large. So if we get the momentum, if this stock is to truly move off of that news catalyst, I don't think that this resistance is going to matter too much. It's going to be the one overhead that matters the most, 190. So PLTR long above 184. I am going aggressive on this because of the news catalyst going into today. If there was no news catalyst, let me make this clear. If there was no news catalyst, this line would have to be moved up. There's no way that I would be going aggressive on this. So because the news catalyst is there, it makes this a stronger setup. in my opinion, to go more aggressive on. So PLTR long above 184, and I'm not going to set a short level on this today. Amazon, next one on the list. This is man, what a drop yesterday. This was such a beautiful drop. Looking back, maybe we should have just sent it on this drop. This would have been something that gave us a lot of profit, but it's not good practice to be going. So we had a short idea on this, I think at like what, 227. It's not good practice to be going short on something after it's so extended down. Though in this case, it would have worked. So it's just a missed opportunity for us. So with Amazon selling over the past couple of trading days, it does make sense to look for a continuation drop out of this, which is just going to be a break below your previous day's closing price right here, 220.5. I know that the low of day from yesterday is 220. If you want to move that down 50 cents, if you need to see a true low, short below 220 works for you. That's fine. So it does make sense to look for lower lows out of this today, given the recent sell-off that Amazon has had. But it also makes sense to start to look for higher highs and a potential reversal because Amazon has a positive reaction to a news catalyst in the pre-market this morning, which is what's causing this gap up here. So we're going to be looking for a break of your pre-market high at 225 because there's plenty of room for this to recover back to 227 plus up to the top side. First target probably going to be 227.5 up to 228. And then beyond that, we can readjust and see what we're looking for. Yeah, so probably 227.5, 228, and then up to 230. Depending on how far this wants to go today. So Amazon, long above 225, short below 220.5. Up next is Hood. Hood, this has been a hard one to catch, even though it's making new all-time highs. It's been difficult to catch this day here. We didn't get a breakout until the end of day, and then that breakout really didn't sustain. It pulled all the way back, but then we get a gap up yesterday, and this price action is so bad. This is so bad. How do you trade this? Big up move, big down move, big up move, big down move into the low of day, bouncing off the low of day, all the way to the high of day, rejection of the high of day, all the way down to the low of day, bouncing off the low of day, and then you get a mid close. What is going on, right? This is terrible. This is some of the worst price action I've seen, honestly. But that aside, we do get a gap up this morning. It's not a big gap up. It's pretty slight, but we do have a larger peak up here at your pre-market high. So we're going to be looking for a break of that pre-market high. I just need all the confirmation out of Hood today. I don't want to be putting us in a situation where we're caught up in this type of price action again. Could it happen? Yeah, I mean, yeah, it definitely could happen. But I hope that it doesn't. I hope that we get some cleaner moves out of this name. So Hood, long above $128 is what we're going to rock. No short level on this today. I got 3 more for you. INTC, next one on the list. So this is something that, I wasn't necessarily bearish on it, but because it was selling and because the gap below is so large, I had a short idea on this yesterday, and then it rebounded. And I said I wasn't going to be super keen on taking INTC long until or unless it breaks $30, which it gave us a test of yesterday, but ultimately couldn't hold above and then rejected. And then so fast forward into this morning, your pre-market high and your intraday resistance yesterday for INTC is right at $30, which is also the whole number. But if we zoom out a little further, this is not the first time INTC has broke $30 and been unable to hold above it. So because we're getting a fake out above 30, a fake out above 30, a rejection at 30, I don't think that we set the long level right at 30 today. I think that we be a little more specific and round a little less. So I need all the confirmation on INTC today. It's going to be a long idea above 30.2. And if you're wondering why this even makes the watch list, it's a 30% gap up on this day right here. That has since started to correct, which is natural, right? That's to be expected after a 30% gap up. That is pulled back. Now we're breaking this downtrend trend line, and we are watching for the continuation. So we want to get back on the front side of this trade as it moves back up. All right, so INTC long above 30.2. Normally, I'm not that specific, but this stock is cheap enough where I can be that specific, and it will matter. So INTC, not a long idea above 30, though if you want to be aggressive, you can go long above 30, but you need to be mindful of the fake out above 30 there and the fake out above 30 here, that you're not getting caught in any sort of fake out above 30 going into today. Cool. Apple. Next one on the watch list, AAPL. The analysis here has not changed, does not change. It's the same exact thing that we were looking for yesterday, which is a break of $257. We got two tests of $257 yesterday. Couldn't hold up, rejected, wound up selling off. But then this morning seems like it found some support around 253.5 and is kind of curling and making its way back up to that resistance point. So Apple long above $257. I did not place a short level on this, though. If I did, it would probably be right there at 250. Yeah, probably 253. 253 would be the short level for Apple today. All right, last one. It's going to be AMD. I've been watching this setup on the daily. If we go back to the day, I've been watching this setup. This, to me, looks like it's primed and ready for a larger move here coming soon. So pay attention. What we have is a break of this downtrend trend line. So all-time high being, right? That is the all-time high. Let me make sure. No, it's not. I don't think it is. No. Yeah, so it's not, but it does look like a bull flag here on the weekly time frame. So back to the daily, not an all-time high, but a 52-week high made, and then this pulls back. It finds support somewhere around the 50 EMA, and then you have a double bottom pattern right here, and the stock is trading at the neckline of that double bottom. So let me draw this out so this makes sense. Pull back into bottom number 1, which is right here, bottom number 2, which is right there, and then your neckline looks like this. So pull back, bottom 1, neckline, bottom 2, and this is where we're at. So the expectation here is that on a double bottom, we're breaking this neckline, which is going to be right at, what is that number? $165 roughly. So back to the 5-minute time frame, where are we trading at? 163. So you see what I'm getting at. We've got a couple of days, a few days, how many? 1, 2, 3 days of rejection at 163 to include yesterday. I know that this price action is pretty wonky, but a lot of stuff yesterday was kind of weird. So we're going to be looking for the break of 163 and the run up towards 165, which is your neckline of that double bottom. And then beyond that, we can start to reassess this for a larger move that's probably going to be incoming here soon. So break of the bottom, break of the downtrend trend line, break of the neckline of the double bottom, and then the move back up to the top side is what we're looking for on AMD. Naturally, all of that's probably going to be like a longer term thing, and longer term meaning later this week or into next week, we might get those types of moves. So today, just want to make it crystal clear, the only thing that I am looking for is going to be the break of 163 and the run to 165. That's going to be enough for us, I think, if we're day trading this with weekly expiration contracts, to make a pretty decent profit on. And then again, we can reassess this trade after this plays out, if this plays out. There is one more that I want to check on, and that's going to be MU, which had earnings. This, to me, just signals indecision, so I'm not going to put this on the watch list. There's nothing here. Big move up into a sell-off, into a move up, into a sell-off, pretty much flat going into this morning, followed by a sell-off, which has moved back up. So it's virtually unchanged. I mean, yeah, it's what, 20 cents off from yesterday's closing price. So earnings seemingly having zero effect on the stock right now. Now, of course, that can change after the open, but I'm going to let that go without me. I'm going to let MU decide its direction without me today. And then if it gives us a larger move up or if it gives us a larger move down, we'll put it on the watch list for the following day once we have direction established. I think that that's probably going to be the easiest way to trade it. Yeah, yesterday's price action was terrible. It was horrendous. Some of the worst price action that I've seen in quite a while. And that comes after a day where we had really great price action. We had Monday we had three green back-to-back green trades in a row, and then we go into Tuesday and it's like we can't get anything rolling. Not only that, but we were just getting fake outs. We were getting moves that weren't sustaining the move, and they normally would. So going into today, we do need to be mindful of yesterday's market sentiment. If that means for you sizing down or taking it light or taking less trades, then so be it, until we get back into a market that is hot, that's giving us momentum, that's giving us follow through. Cool. All right, top pick of the day, probably going to be PLTR, only because of that news catalyst that we had at the end of day yesterday, the partnership with Boeing. I mean, to me, that's a huge news catalyst. I think that that's pretty big. I don't know if that news has already been something that is announced or if it's something that has been rumored that might be already baked into the price. I hope not. It feels like fresh news given the reaction that we got yesterday, but because that news is here, this has to be the top watch for me today. So PLTR long above $184. We're looking for that run to eventually 190 to the all-time highs. And PLTR has the power to make that type of move to possibly even get there today. So we'll see. We'll see what's given. All right, we are trading live this morning. The live trading will not be held here on YouTube. It's going to be held on the Discord server. So to navigate there, here's how you're going to do it. Scroll all the way down to the bottom left-hand side of the Discord server. You're going to see a channel called the Voice Channels. Make sure that heading is expanded and then join in the arena. You see people already joined in here. That is where we will conduct the live trading for the day. All right, that's it. That's all that I have. Short, sweet, simple, and straightforward. Good luck today. Trade safe. Wait for confirmation. Make sure you're mitigating your risk to the downside, cutting those trades as soon as they stop working for you, and then let the winners work. If they're working, let them go. You know, try to get 10% plus, ideally 15% plus, up to 20%. So I know a lot of people have trouble with taking profits way too soon. So, you know, if a trade's working for you, don't hesitate to move that stop loss to break even and let it keep working. Cool. All right, take care. Good luck. We'll see you over in the Discord server for the live trading. Cheers.